Hello everybody and welcome to another League of Legends video, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at something very simple yet something very effective. We're going to be taking a look at how to ping better in League of Legends. Let's get into it. So if you've ever played a game like FIFA, for example, and you know you can control your teammates, although the AI is still playing for you to a degree, you can still swap between positions, and you know if you want to play one player versus the other, you can control pretty much all of your teammates. Now in League of Legends, unfortunately, when you do queue up, you're being queued into 4 brain damage zoo animals for the majority of the time, and so you have to be prepared to not be able to control their movements. However, with proper pings and proper movements, you actually can find a lot more success in solo queue. We're gonna in this video show you how to ping, when to ping, and a lot of it has to do with being able to read the pace of the game. Moving into our first example, we're gonna see the opening here, and as you can see, there's gonna be a few pings that already come out. Now, I'm playing Kindred here against, I think, Graves Jungle, and in this game, so as you can see in the minimap here, the enemy team actually has a much stronger level 1. Now you guys won't be able to see it in this little example here, but the enemy team will be able to invade us. And so what I'm spam pinging, as you can see, is I'm telling my teammates to make sure you cover your entrances. A lot of the times when you guys have started losing the game at level 1, a lot of the times it has to do with the enemy just invading and getting a very easy pick on you guys, and then it transfers to a first blood on one of the lane opponents, and then they just end up snowballing the game off that. Now here, you're not allowed to get angry at your teammates for getting first blooded off of an invade if you're not spam pinging the cover. Now, spam pinging like this can get a little bit irritating and people might tell you to shut up, but I mean, honestly, it doesn't matter as long as it gets you the win. Now, what you're trying to do now here is you want to just make sure someone is making sure they are covering the entrance of red. Now, unfortunately here, my teammates weren't able to do that immediately because the enemy team ended up just kind of running and we ended up seeing them. But again, in this case, we want to make sure that Sivir or someone here in this case must be standing here to make sure that the entrance is covered, and so we exactly know where the enemy is. This is very important because if they end up cross-mapping us, then I should be aware to start the enemy jungle. Now here, because the enemy did end up showing, there is a possibility for them to just completely take our blue buff, and there's nothing that I can do. And so what I actually spam ping my Teemo to go over to blue buff. And now the reason I'm pinging this is because although sometimes, so what's going to happen here is if you're walking towards blue, you should actually ping it because you want to let everyone on your team know that you're going towards the blue buff, because a lot of the times, let's be honest, most of your teammates have their minimap disabled, and so just pinging the fact that you want to start their blue buff and spam pinging it will actually then allow your teammates to just be aware of that and then start playing a lot differently in the game. Now what you're going to notice is that we end up getting a ward down, and it seems like the Annie is having some fun, so we end up spam pinging again. Spam ping it to let your teammates know to immediately jump on her. I know again this could be a little bit annoying, but I'm telling you it is so much worth making sure you're getting the win versus being a little bit irritating for all of your teammates. The higher elo you go and the more communication you actually do in your games, the more comfortable your teammates will end up feeling. And so in fact it'll actually be better. And in lower MMR, people tend to get a little bit annoyed because they don't really understand the game as much, and so all they really see is spam pings as an annoyance. But in higher rank it's seen as communication, and when you communicate, it actually makes your teammates a lot more comfortable. But anyways, moving forward with the example, we end up picking Annie up and we end up getting the first blood. Moving forward with our example here, we're going to notice that after I've secured the blue, we're going to notice that I ping that I'm headed over to my red. Again, this is just to let my teammates know, hey, this is the camp I'm going for next. Now, something about pinging when you're going for a camp, for example, for the junglers out there, is you don't have to spam ping every single camp you're going to. You can just ping once that you're going to your red buff. You can ping once that you're going from red to wolves. You don't have to spam ping like red to raptors or like red to golems or golems to red, because that will get a little bit irritating. But you can simply spam ping that, hey, I'm headed, or don't spam ping it, but ping it once because it's not really like urgent information. But you can be like, hey, I'm going from red here, so please be careful, and then you're going to take raptors, and then you can ping wolves or something like that once. You don't have to spam ping it like a psychopath. Now here, what I'm actually going to be doing here is you're going to notice on the map is I'm pinging that Graves has started bottom side. And the reason I know Graves has started bottom side is because we know he's not at our blue buff, and well, I started his blue, so he's obviously down there. And so again, here I'm just telling my teammates, hey, this is where Graves is, and this is where he will most likely start. And again, we're going to ping as he's routing. Now, you can do this as a laner as well. You can do this, of course, as a jungler. As a jungler, it's very necessary that you do this, but as a laner, this is also very much possible. So Graves ends up ganking mid lane here, or bottom lane here, sorry, and then he ends up moving to my red blue buff here. Now here, as you can see, I'm spam pinging that Graves is most likely on my blue. And here again, we're just communicating that, hey, we want to go to our blue buff. Graves ends up giving his blue, and now as you can see again, the next ping is because I know that he's not going towards my blue, that he's most likely going to his raptors and then moving up to the top side. If Graves ends up going to his golems and then goes to his raptors, it's quite inefficient because now he's losing a lot of speed inside of his jungle. So most likely I'm under the assumption here that he's just going to go his raptors and then he's going to route up, but as you can see on the minimap, I am pinging exactly where he is routing towards. Moving forward with the same example, again in this video I'm not really going to be analyzing the game, rather I'm just going to be showing you how the communication is to be made when you play your solo queue games. Now, what essentially happened in this game here is Graves ended up killing 3 of his bottom side camps. He ended up trying to invade me. We had a bit of a party down in bottom lane. He ended up dying, and then I ended up dying as well. And then now we know that because he ends up having 12 CS here, his top side camps are obviously up. Now what I want you to do is pay very close attention to how I ping. There is a difference between pinging from the bottom side. So for example, when someone transitions from the bottom side to top side, as so with Epic Pen I'm going to show you here, sometimes the pings may look like this, where I'm pinging like this, and then I'm pinging this way to tell them that they are going from bottom side to the top side jungle. But in some cases, a lot of the time when we know that the enemy jungler is in the base here, one thing we can do now is we can ping, if you look at the minimap, is the way I do it, where I end up pinging something like this, where I'm pinging that he is going from base all the way to his wolves. Now, what this allows you to do, it allows your laners to know that Graves actually ended up taking a recall. While I'm spam pinging that Graves is going from Nexus all the way to Wolves, I'm also pinging that I'm going to my blue buff. And now what I'm going to be doing is, if you notice, is I'm pinging danger here because I know that Annie is coming in. Now what's going to happen is after Graves has done these 2 camps, if I choose to move down like this into the river, let's say I move like this for whatever reason, or I move like this, or I move like, most likely I'll be moving into my raptors, I'm going to be spam pinging that, hey, Graves can possibly be on my raptors. So here I move into his raptors here. Again, I'm spam pinging that I'm doing this decision. And at this point, again, I'm pinging that I'm going over to my raptors, and there is a world where Graves can possibly be here. And again, if you notice, my Silas again ended up getting a solo kill. So let's watch this real quick. So Silas ends up getting a pretty nice kill, and now he wants to get this crash off on this wave. I know that Graves wants to come and try to gank him because he's most likely going to be ganking from the north side of the map here. And so what I'm doing is I'm just spam pinging that I am available, I am here to assist you, so you can get the shove off. Now, what I end up actually doing eventually is I just end up helping him out. But if Graves does ends up showing, I know that Silas does have his heal. We also have a pretty big minion wave, and so it actually leads to a kill if he ends up trying to kill my Silas. And now again, as you can see, I'm spam pinging question mark here that Graves was in the river. Now he might actually be on my raptors. Now that I know my raptors are gone, I'm pinging that I'm going to my wolves, I'm going to my Gromp, and then I'm coming down bottom lane. At the same time, I'm also spam pinging that Graves, after finishing his top side, theoretically, should be showing on this ward very soon, moving to his raptors, down to his golems, and then moving to bot side very soon. So again, all I'm really doing is I'm just communicating again, you're going to see it, Gromp to bottom lane. And one thing that you guys should do when you are playing jungle and you're trying to communicate, or if you're a mid lane or a top lane or roaming, is ping your teammates on the spot, because usually they're just, so what Leona sees is like this right here, is she sees her square. So what you want to do is you want to ping on Leona so that she sees it on her screen. Don't ping here, don't ping here, don't ping here, don't ping here. Ping on your teammates so they cannot miss the fact that you're on your way. Now we see the Graves, and although we see the Graves, I'm just again reminding my team that we do see him. Please be aware of this. We end up getting the kill off, whatever, and now we are moving forward. And here we're looking for the invade. But again, going forward to what I was saying here, it is very crucial that you are spam pinging every movement that you make, because this stuff will make your teammates feel very comfortable playing with you. It will allow your teammates to also know exactly what you're thinking, and now they can play their lanes in accordance to your routes. Lastly, in conclusion to this video, again, just a quick reminder, guys, make sure you are spam pinging. Do not ping to the point where you're just irritating your teammates. Do not ping every little movement, but do ping the major movements, like when you go from camp to camp. For laners, make sure that if your laner is missing, if they're walking to the direction, let's say from mid lane to bottom, you want to spam ping down the river to make sure that you are pinging in the direction that your enemy laner is actually heading. Anyways, I just wanted to keep this video as short and to the point as possible. Thank you guys for watching, and if you have any questions, please feel free to comment below and I will answer them. Remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys for the next video. Take care, have a good night, bye.